Welcome to KiniNews. I'm your host Prasad. Did Pakatan Harapan make the right decision when they chose to support Umno's Ismail Sabri Yaakob instead of Muhyiddin Yassin, especially now that Umno looks to be in the position to return to power? One DAP MP is sticking with his position that Harapan chose the wrong person.
DAP's Bangi MP Kian said he felt vindicated now since Harapan eventually signed a confidence and supply agreement with Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob.
I understand why it was difficult for some of my party leaders to accept working with Muhyiddin. I understand because the public backlash was very great at that time. But at the same time, I think if let's say you were to ask some of the party leaders now, would it have been better for us to accept Muhyiddin's CSA to prevent an Umno PM from coming into power? I hope that most of them would say yes lah. Yeah, of course they are entitled to their own opinion. My answer would be yes. We should have taken Muhyiddin's offer so that we can avoid a situation where the court cluster now has a lot of power.
Ong and Damansara MP Tony Phua were the only two Harapan MPs who spoke in favour of Muhyiddin Yassin's original deal at first. This earned the duo the wrath of not just the public, but also their allies and even those from their own party, the DAP. In the dying days of the Muhyiddin Yassin administration, Muhyiddin begged the opposition to keep him in power. In exchange, Muhyiddin offered a slew of institutional reforms. Muhyiddin had made the offer in response to 15 Umno MPs withdrawing support for him to continue as Prime Minister. Harapan's Presidential Council rejected the offer within hours. However, Harapan signed the CSA with Ismail Sabri a month later.
Does Ahmad Zahid Hamidi have the evidence to prove that Dr Mahathir Mohamad is not a Malay? Well, if he does, he may want to present it or apologise. Mahathir's challenge is that simple.
Umno President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has been challenged to prove assertions that Dr Mahathir Mohamad is not a Malay. Mahathir said he will also sue Zahid if the Umno leader does not apologize for making the defamatory claim. The Pejuang leader was referring to remarks Zahid made in 2017. The then Home Minister brought up a purported copy of the former's identity card which stated his name as Mahathir Anak Lelaki Iskandar Kuti. Zahid then said Mahathir was right when he said Malays are forgetful because he is the son of Iskandar Kuti. He then claimed that Mahathir is the person who fought for the Malay agenda in order to use Malays. Mahathir, in a post on social media today, said his birth certificate and identity card both state his name is Mahathir bin Mohamad. He added that Zahid has never produced evidence to prove otherwise.
Being a security guard isn't easy. It's a high-risk job that usually doesn't pay as well as it should. With that said, being a journalist isn't easy either. There's a chance that you'll be harassed on the job, and often by security guards.
Investigations into the alleged harassment of two journalists by a security guard in Kuala Lumpur has been reclassified under the Penal Code. The matter was confirmed by Kuala Lumpur Criminal Investigations Department Chief Habibi Majinji. Habibi told the Vibes that he personally reclassified investigations after going through the facts. He said investigations will now be conducted under Section 160 of the Penal Code, which criminalizes those involved in an affray. Prior to Habibi's intervention, the Dangwangi police had classified the case as refer to magistrate. He said, as both parties have come forward to lodge police reports, police will have to investigate to find out which side is at fault. Two of the Vibes journalists were harassed by a security guard on Saturday at the Pudu UTC. The duo were harassed while interviewing several individuals who were lining up for their passports. The security guard claimed that the journalists were not allowed to gather information without formal approval. Apart from verbal abuse, the security guard was also accused of snatching one of the journalists' handphones.
Malaysia has a new ambassador to Indonesia. I'm sure it's someone who will be able to keep things diplomatic. And who's more diplomatic than the former Prasarana chairperson who described a train collision as two trains kissing each other.
Outspoken Umno lawmaker Tajuddin Abdul Rahman has confirmed his appointment as Malaysia's ambassador to Indonesia, based in Jakarta. In a brief message to Malaysia Kini, the Pasir Salak MP said the rumours are true. Online portal Malaysia Now earlier today quoted diplomatic sources who revealed that Tajuddin's appointment has received approval from the Indonesian government under President Joko Widodo. His appointment to replace career diplomat Zainal Abidin Bakar will see the return of a politician ambassador to the position. Tajuddin was previously sacked from his position as chairperson of Prasarana following remarks deemed insensitive in the aftermath of an LRT collision in Kuala Lumpur, which left dozens injured. Earlier last month, former diplomat Dennis Ignatius noted that vacancies left unfilled for top positions in Malaysian missions abroad have raised questions over domestic happenings in the foreign ministry.
You could have skipped Najibs' debate with Anwar, but there's something you may want to follow. His 2 billion ringgit 1MDB corruption trial. Here's what happened in court today.
Najib Abdul Razak never disclosed to 1MDB's board of directors or management that he received billions of ringgit belonging to the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund. This is according to the 12th prosecution witness, 1MDB's former chief financial officer Azmi Tahir. He told the Kuala Lumpur High Court this afternoon that Najib never reprimanded him for following Joe Low's directions regarding financial transfers out of the fund. During the 2.28 billion ringgit 1MDB corruption trial against Najib, Azmi gave this testimony in reply to questions put forth during re-examination by Deputy Public Prosecutor Gopal Sriram. Sriram had shown him several banking transactions involving 1MDB and multiple international entities between 2013 and 2014, among them Granton Property Holding Limited, Tenor Finance, and Vista Equity Partners Limited. Granton, Tenor, and Vista Equity are three entities allegedly to be controlled by Eric Tan, a purported associate of Joe Low. The prosecution contended that through a convoluted monetary flow as part of alleged money laundering, billions of ringgit of 1MDB funds were siphoned from the fund and into Najib's bank accounts. The witness also concurred with the prosecutor that over 45 million ringgit in funds from 1MDB went into Najib's account in 2014.
Let's talk about suicide. It's still criminal in Malaysia. And Muda in Penang is putting pressure on the government to change that.
Penang Muda is putting pressure on the government to abolish criminal suicide. In a statement today, Penang Muda chairperson Jas Tan Yee Mei raised concern regarding Section 309 of the Penal Code, which criminalizes attempted suicide in Malaysia. She also noted there are currently no discussions to table a bill to abolish criminal suicide. The call comes after several people were said to have fallen off the Penang Bridge recently. Yesterday, it was reported that a man fell from the Penang Bridge about 11:40 a.m. The body of another man reported to have fallen from the bridge was found last Thursday. Tan said there were 19 attempted suicides and 53 suicide cases reported in Penang from January to May last year. She alleged that many more such cases which take place on the Penang Bridge go unreported.
Like it or not, Umno is a rather disciplined political party. The vote to amend its constitution last weekend shows that. But what about Bersatu? This next story may give you a clue.
Muhammad Redzwan Yusof has vowed to defend his Alor Gajah parliamentary seat even if his party Bersatu does not field him again. Speaking to Sinar Harian, he said the seat will be defended regardless of whether he receives a mandate from party president Muhyiddin Yassin. The Bersatu Supreme Council member made his electoral debut during the 2018 election, winning the Alor Gajah seat on a Pakatan Harapan ticket. He was immediately made a minister in the Dr Mahathir Mohamad administration, but relegated to a special functions minister in the Prime Minister's department during the Muhyiddin Yassin administration. Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob did not include Redzwan in his cabinet. The lawmaker denied that he has kept a low profile after Ismail Sabri came to power in August last year. Redzwan revealed that he was not keeping silent politically because he was quietly cozying up to the grassroots.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.